I knew I had a problem, but no really consequences happened until about 9 months of me using heroin, and I ended up going to prison. I had known heroin was dangerous. In the beginning it was really scary, and that's why I tried to, I guess, get it from the same person. And so usually I knew how much to do, but you know what you're getting in the pills. Right. You know, they're pharmaceutically made. They're still dangerous, but you know you can dose it out. You know how much to do. With heroin, you don't know how strong it is, what else they can put in it with fentanyl, and you know what else they cut it with. You know, there's no telling. Eventually, I was so miserable in my addiction that it got to the point where I wasn't being careful anymore because I didn't really care if I lived or not. I would do more than I usually did, and you know, if I went out, I went out. That's where I was. I was so miserable at the time, I didn't care if I woke back up or not. So, you know, for a while, I was very cautious about how much I did, how I did it. Always had to have somebody around, you know, just in case. But, you know, somewhere along the lines, it got to that point where I was so depressed and miserable that, you know, I didn't care anymore. About 9 months after my addiction really kicked up, I went to prison. I went for about 1.5 years. My habit was getting very expensive. I couldn't afford it anymore. That feeling of being sick and withdrawing and not having it is the most miserable time I've ever been through. So I ended up breaking into a house, breaking into the garage, stole some stuff from the garage. I've never stolen anything in my life before that. The heroin changed me as a person. I guess something takes place in your head and your heart where you just don't have a conscience anymore, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get your next high, and it doesn't matter who you have to jump over. I stayed away from the opiates when I was in there. It was accessible in prison. The whole time I was in there, the obsession was still there. It didn't leave. I don't know how I had a strong enough mind to think of it this way. I thought, you know, I knew if I started doing it in prison I was going to get hooked. And I didn't have the resources to get it every day in there, and you know, not all times people can get it in, so I didn't want to be stuck, first of all, in prison, and second of all, sick. Prison was such a crazy experience for me. I did smoke marijuana in prison. My roommate died. I watched it firsthand. I saw a guy get thrown off, you know, a second tier over $20 worth of food. And he landed on his head and he died. I've seen people get stabbed over $10 worth of food. People taking stuff from elderly people just because they can. A lot of stuff that I'm not proud of. It's crazy because you think, you know, 1.5 years of prison would, you know, show somebody that, you know, it's not worth it and maybe teach me a lesson, but I actually ended up relapsing 3 days after I got out. You know, I still had reservations to use when I got out, and I thought I could do it successfully. And like I said, you know, you think 1.5 years being incarcerated would give somebody time to think, but you know, the whole time I was just thinking about how I was going to get high and how I was going to do it better and how I was going to be successful at it. So.